let's go ahead. I'm going to go into now the USAID conversation. So basically, USAID provides funding for different organizations that are overseas to try to help basically countries in, in desperate need, essentially, right? That's the whole idea, essentially, of USAID. Well, DOGE, for anyone living under a rock, DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, the unelected bureaucrats within that made-up department that has actually been, so anybody who's not clear, DOGE is working under the Digital Services or something like that administration. It was like, I think it's one along those lines. He repurposed that administration for DOGE. Now, keep in mind that administration, that little department had nothing to do with what DOGE is doing. They're going in, and there's rumors that they're going into these different buildings, going into their servers, and the claim by the Treasury Department, who, by the way, the Treasury Secretary, who was nominated by Donald Trump, is claiming they only have read-only access. We'll get to that. There's other sources coming out saying that they have read-write access. Why is that important? Because read-write access will allow them to actually change the data, right? Read-write. Read-only access is still an issue. Let's be very clear about that. Read-only is still an issue. You talk about, and Republicans have talked about, big tech and how big tech has your data. Big tech has your data. You can track me where I'm going. You can track me and do this. But there's no problem with DOGE having read-only access to see your personal data. And that's true, Long. Like, we don't know how much they're changing. And we'll get to that. Exactly, Ancom. There are many people that are coming around saying that they're already changing the code as it is. This is a crisis. You're fixing something that doesn't need to be fixed. And keep in mind, Elon Musk is never been appointed. He was appointed to Donald Trump and reports only to Donald Trump. He does not report to Congress. He is the quite literal definition of an unelected bureaucrat. That is what this is. It is an insane idea. If Joe Biden did anything halfway similar to this, they would have asked for Joe Biden to be impeached on the spot. You're 100% right, Longleg. Longleg says even sniffing classified data without clearance will get you arrested and interrogated for any normal citizen. But because it's Elon Musk, we make an exception. No, Elon Musk is an unelected bureaucrat. He's a dictionary definition of oligarch. That too. Listen, I've seen this, right? We're living in the roligarch. We're living in the oligarchy. And you're 100% right. Keep in mind, we have a bunch of billionaires that are serving under this administration, a bunch of donors that are serving under this administration that have zero qualifications. Keep in mind, we have Pete Hegseth, who has now turned the Department of Defense into a morning or Sunday morning show. I saw an interview where he did an interview down at the border, and I'm like, this is not what a Department of Defense looks like. This is not what the Secretary of Defense looks like. It is now, we are living quite literally in Donald Trump's reality show. Pete is probably one of the worst people for this job, American Patriot, through and through. Yes, Ancom, I know there's a lot of stuff going on in the realm of politics literally every single day. This is why I say, if you're not following me on TikTok, please follow me on TikTok. I post every single day the top story from the day that I deem is newsworthy. Or follow me if you're on Twitter. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. I also post quite a bit on Twitter. And I go in there and I actually reply. I'm a little bit of a reply guy here. No, American Patriot, it is actually MAGA who's against the vets. It's MAGA who's against the vets. It's not me that's against the vets. I support our vets. I do that as well, Ancom. I try to do my best on YouTube Shorts to post every single video that I upload to TikTok. If I upload a video to TikTok, I upload it to YouTube Shorts and I upload it to Instagram Reels as well. I try to do my best, but it's, listen, all right. I'm doing like 15 things at once. Yo, Ixwaley, thank you for the follow. Wow. Okay. I forgot. I got to update my Kick stuff here. I just did Kick. Ixwaley, and I can't ban this guy. because I don't have kick up. It's great. Whatever. Y'all can't see him. No big deal. And guys, here's the thing too. We're looking at this right here, right? DOGE-AID search Medicare agency payment systems for fraud. They're searching these systems. I don't know about you. I don't really want to see that. Okay, I don't want Elon Musk and DOGE-AIDs, who are unelected bureaucrats appointed to nobody but Donald Trump, to go through these systems. And keep in mind, Donald Trump for the longest time said, we're not going after Medicaid. We're not going to go after, Medicare. And they're going to use, mark my words, and maybe I'm wrong, and I hope I'm wrong. They're going to use this right here as a way to try to mask why they're getting rid of these systems. Donald Trump has already said he's going to go after FEMA, and he's going to make FEMA down to the states. He's going to pass FEMA down to states. Mind you, a bunch of red states heavily rely on government assistance as it is now. And Donald Trump wants to get rid of all of these departments and send them right back to the states. Just wait until there's a disproportionate outcomes of education, of disaster response, all because it's bound back down to the states. And we all know that blue states handle their own. So then we have here the idea of Politico. This story broke, and the long story short summary of this is that Politico is receiving U.S. spending. They were receiving some funding from the government for particular subscriptions. Here's the thing. These subscriptions were for Politico Pro, which is basically a database for current legislation and things going on in Congress. It's a very fancy database system, and it costs about $1,000 to $10,000 per subscriber. Incom said the worst part about this is that Medicare and Social Security are completely separate budget-wise. Talking about this is where the real big savings are, belies a severe misunderstanding about how the federal budget works. That too. This is just hilarious. So Brian Stelter covered this a little bit. He said, Politico has never been a beneficiary of government programs or subsidies, not 1 cent ever in 18 years. The news outlets leaders, so this is the news outlet leaders reporting on what this new stuff is coming out with. The news outlets leaders, Goley, whatever that name is, and John Harris wrote a memo tonight. They're responding to rampant right-wing misinformation. Surprise, surprise, right? Right-wing spreading misinformation. White House says it'll cancel $8 million in political subscriptions after a false right-wing conspiracy theory spreads. Here's the whole complete memo right here. I know my thing's kind of cutting it off a little bit. It's just basically saying Politico's never received any of this funding. They're not receiving subsidies or things like that. They said it's not uncommon for clients to wish to review and discuss their contracts at renewal time. Now, keep in mind, guys, the problem with this is that this Politico Pro subscription has nothing to do with subsidies. And guess what? There was a contract awarded to them because of congressional funding. Now, here it is here where Pim Tool was saying White House just nuked Politico's weird-ass taxpayer-funded subscriptions. The Department of Energy has $400,000 subscriptions for 172 people for 1 year. This is insane. Well, Tim Pool or Pim Tool, if you looked into it, you would find out just how quickly you're wrong. Let's go ahead, guys. I'm going to show you this tool that they're using. It is this little thing right here, usaspending.gov. So what you can do here is you can go down this little rabbit hole of all the things that they're finding. Real quick, before we get to that, I want to move on to another thing here. I was having an argument with this person on Twitter. What's up, you Moon? You're not wrong, Moon. 400,000 is exact. Well, I got to be politically correct here. These are allegations. I don't know where they stand, but I think that was the amount that they're claiming allegedly that he received from Russia. So here's a tweet from Jasmine Crockett. My job is to look out and make sure that we don't have any kings or queens in this country, but it seems like y'all have decided it's going to be Mr. King and his queen. Keep in mind, when he's saying his queen, she's referring to Elon Musk. And y'all can pick which one is which is fair because either one fits perfectly, right? Either Trump's the queen and Elon's the king, or whatever one you want to put it at. I said Republicans no longer care about democracy. They only care about their king, which is very true. And Lori Ann decided to reply back. Do you really believe this is a good use of our taxpayer money? And if you do, that will tell me how you are. But let's take a look. This is what we see from right-wing spaces. $7,000 for a BIPOC speaker series in Canada through the State Department. You see how vague that is? I see no sources for this. I don't know when this was approved. I don't know who approved this. I don't know all the details of this, quite frankly. $80,000 for an LGBTQ community center in Bratislava, Slovakia through the State Department. That doesn't tell me nothing. And you're completely correct, Longleg. $7,000 is laughable. Laughable. Oh my God, you really found it. You did it, guys. You found $7,000. Woo! Let's go. You found $7,000. Oh my God. Oh my God. You found it. Spare me, bro. It's $7,000. Now, again, we see these lists going up, but that's not the only list she provided. She provided this next list too. Here's the issue with this. Okay, to be clear, this list was actually given by a House committee. I had to look at it again to figure out which one it was. But it was a House committee. It was a Republican-led House committee that provided this list. It's political propaganda. That's quite literally what this is. They're throwing Gish Gallop in real. We're watching Gish Galloping happening in real time where there's flinging facts left and right, and they're hoping nobody does their research on this. Longleg said people don't understand how much money it costs to literally do anything. Even running a tiny 3 to 6 person nonprofit for a year is going to cost you like $500,000 in wages alone, let alone a program. Yeah, 100%. And again, $7,000 is laughable. It's like, congratulations, you found it. This one says $1 million to boost French-speaking LGBTQ groups in West and Central Africa through the State Department. That doesn't tell me anything. This is the problem with these lists. They don't provide sources. They don't provide actual screenshots. And if they do, they look a little something like this. A little something like this, guys. Chelsea Clinton casually taking home $84 million. Let's walk through this, shall we? Let's walk through this claim that Chelsea Clinton, the Clintons, are getting $84 million. Here's the problem. Gross receipts is $83.6 million. What is gross receipts? Gross receipts are the total amounts the organization received from all sources during its annual accounting period without subtracting any cost or expenses. Guys, let's put this into perspective, okay? Gross receipts are essentially that nonprofit's revenue. Yes, this right here is the Clinton Foundation, from all that I can tell on this, because it literally says Bill, Hillary, and Chelsea Clinton. It's the Clinton Foundation, right? This guy, AKA, said Chelsea Clinton received $84 million. First of all, she didn't receive $84 million. The foundation received $84 million. And the contributions. Now keep in mind, because if you've taken nonprofit accounting, you know exactly what this terminology is. Contributions can be individual contributions. They could be, corporate donations, things of that nature. $23 million. And then the grants given, and it says visible, I don't know where they're getting this chart from, is $1.5 million. The taxpayer funds that went to this is a whopping $17,000. To the foundation, by the way, guys. To the foundation. Not to Chelsea Clinton. To the foundation. To the organization. That is why, guys, context clues, if you look at this little thing right here, it says EIN. Does anybody know what an EIN is? Oh, wait, that's right. It's an employer identification number. Okay? An employer identification number. Why would they have that? Because guess what? It is a nonprofit. So they only received $17,000 for this organization. I can almost about guarantee you that of that $17,000, the Clintons probably saw maybe a few $100s, if that. Lost Treasure, welcome in, buddy. Welcome in. Read Project 2025. It literally says restore self-governance to the American people. Yeah, no, absolutely, Lost Treasure. That's what we've been arguing about all this time, is that essentially what Donald Trump is trying to do is he's trying to strip away all of the employees from these federal agencies and then trying to go in. What's up, Bulletproof? Welcome in, buddy. He's trying to do that, strip them away, and then send it back down to the states. This is exactly what they're doing. Who do we even care about the Clinton Foundation? It's a private organization with only 80 million in revenue. Elon is worth like 400 trillion. That's what we need to be focused on. No, and we're going to get to that, long leg. So there we go. We have all that. And let's take a look. We're back here. So let's go take a look at what Politico does. Okay. So we're going to go to recipient. You can't really see it, but I have it up here. And all you do is search Politico. This is how simple it is, guys. You could do this on your own. And guess what? Remember, the same thing that they're discovering all of this government spending has been in place since Obama, which means Trump could have done this his first administration. He could have done this. Could have done this. So let's go to Politico. Here we go. We see the Politico recipient right here. Okay. And now all we got to do is click submit. And let's wait for the data to gather. Look at this. All right. So let's go through this list. Here's the issue we have to be concerned about. On this list, what they're sometimes doing is they're combining these right here. Sometimes they combine them. Sometimes they're individual. Sometimes they just go down here and they say, look, Department of Health and Human Services spent $6.9 million on Politico. But they're very mischievous in how they do this. But this is where the meat and potatoes is. And I won't spend too much time on this because it gets really boring. But all you have to do is scroll down here, find whichever one you want to like, and look at this, guys. What does that say? Political Pro renewal. Furthermore, it's very important to mention, look at the start date on these. The period of performance start. 9/20, 21, 22, 20. Who was in office in 20? We can look at, look at this one. 2017. Who was in office at that time? Let's see. I think we got another one here. There's 2017 again. There's 2020. Plenty of 20s in here. Oh, look. There's 2016. That would have been Obama era. Oh, look. 2019. So, yeah, I saw a 2015 one. They go years back to 2004 nearly. Okay? So the thing about this is, hold on one second. The thing about this is that the Trump administration was the one who did this. Several administrations have done this. This is not uniquely Joe Biden. This is not uniquely Obama. So now, to the bigger question, which Blizza asked, are you saying we should just keep funding this stuff? The issue is that I don't know. Is Politico Pro, which seems to track the database? Remember, Politico Pro is a database. You can look it up. As a matter of fact, here, I'll look it up real quick for you guys. It's real simple. Let's go ahead and look this up real quick. Politico Pro. It's very simple to look this stuff up. All right. So let's go here, and I'll show you guys this. Empowering policy professionals with tools and intelligence to influence government priorities in the new administration's first 100 days. Let's see. Your all-inclusive edge for sharp strategy. It's like a database. I don't know how to explain it, right? So to me, I mean, I have no problem with them doing this. Sorry, my pupper's going nuts. So, again, this is just a Politico Pro subscription. And here it is here. Right-wing media is melting down today over the erroneous idea that Politico is secretly funded by USAID, which it's really not. Politico missed payroll yesterday because of a tech issue. So if you see that going around, that Politico missed a payroll period, it's not because they're no longer being funded. It's because, guess what? A technical issue. And that happens. Listen, there are bank holidays and businesses, and sometimes payroll gets delayed. Sometimes a system goes down. It's rare, but it does happen. I had it at my last company. We had a technical issue, and they ended up delaying it. Now, you could say that's convenient and everything. Then I provide you and ask you for the proof that this was just, this was them trying to cover up something. MAGA supporters took that as proof that Politico is secretly bankrolled by USAID, whose programs have been suspended by Trump. And they seized on usaspending.gov pages showing the entire U.S. government paid Politico $8.2 million last year, wrongly assuming all that money came from USAID alone, which is correct. Because the USAID, if you look over here, guys, you'll look down here, you'll see, where is it? I believe it's over here. It should pop up somewhere over here. I don't see it. but it's over here somewhere, and it would be very minimal. The other thing is that everyone's so concerned about this. Here it is. That money appears to be for Politico Pro subscriptions, which cost thousands of dollars a year. Nonetheless, lots of MAGA personalities still mad. Now Dana Loesch wants a protest at Politico's office. Guess what? I hope that Politico sues every single one of these people that sits here and has an actual base. This is the problem with doing this, by the way, with what MAGA is doing and what Donald Trump is doing. This is going to lead to numerous lawsuits. Numerous lawsuits. Because what's going on is they're putting this stuff out there, hoping something sticks. And guess what's going to happen? Someone's going to come and say, you have tarnished the reputation of my business. And so what we need to do about it, I'm glad Simply Steve, you asked this. What should we do about it? We know what's happening. What should we do about it? What we need to do about this is, quite frankly, we don't have the resources to go in. I think there's one thing that I saw that Republicans did. I saw one thing that Republicans did that I think, quite frankly, Democrats need to do is we need to have, someone said like the Kamala HQ, for example, we need a fact-checking source routinely. We need people around the clock checking this stuff. The quickest way to stop disinformation, even though it's already out there and it's going to be very hard, it's hard to put a cap on it once it's been out there, is we need to put we need to have essentially a PR firm, if you will, going out there and stopping this. Second thing we need to do is we need to stop caving into them, right? We just need to stop caving into them. Quite frankly, I mean, we can go through and look at them. Yeah, and that's the thing too, Longleg. Longleg said, fact checking is good, but you have to keep in mind a significant part of our country just doesn't give a flying F about facts. And that's completely true, right? And this is kind of the conundrum we face is what can we do? It's very difficult to provide that, especially when we have right now Republicans in the House and the Senate, right? As far as us never having the chance to vote again, look, I think that it could certainly be possible. But I think it's play it every day, right? Let's not get too ahead of ourselves and let's focus on one issue at a time. Could it certainly be a case that we're going to lose our voting rights within the next 4 years? It's possible. But what we're seeing right now is that our judicial system, Trump appointed judges, by the way, are going in and blocking these actions. They're standing up against Donald Trump, which is a good sign. So what we need to really do is encourage our Congress members to stand up against this. Resistance is going to be key. And what I mean by resistance is resistance through the judicial process, resistance through the legislative process. And in some cases, there are people that are protesting right now. What I will caution on this is people are protesting these deportation orders. I understand that we should protest in some cases, right? I mean, obviously these deportation orders, I support it. The issue is we have to be careful in how we do this. We also have to be careful not to give the right an easy win. Don't give them an easy dub. So I've seen some videos already coming out today about protests getting a little unruly with passerbys. That's not the way to handle that. I understand there's a time for it. I understand people have different opinions on how people should protest, but absolutely. Yeah. No, you're good. So here's the thing. There's a time and place to be unruly. There's a time and place to, I just don't think the protests right now, don't do that. That's just me. Don't give them an easy dub. Why resist when you say, I don't know, when asked if we should keep... Okay, so Blizza, what should we keep funding? Here's the thing. Political Pro subscription, keep funding it. It's like, what, like $400,000? If you don't like it, go... Here's the thing that people don't understand. How do these things get funded? How do they get funded? They get funded through Congress. If you don't like it, call up your congressperson and say, hey, bro, don't like that you funded this. And this is the problem with it. I push back. I no longer fact check MAGA on this or try to, because I say, look, it's your responsibility. You have provided this claim. I want you to tell me every single detail about this claim. Who was it that funded it? How much was funded? Where did it go? What was the description? Provide me all of these things. I want to make sure that you even know what you're talking about. And I'll tell you guys, 9 times out of 10, MAGA has no idea what they're talking about. Yeah, the left needs to back off the DEPRTS, I'm assuming deportations. If they're going after American citizens, that's different, but the right can use that as, well, no, simply Steve. The protests are one thing. I completely understand. And I think it's also revealing, quite frankly, when it's funny to me that MAGA gets upset about these people flying the Mexican flag or the Guatemalan flag, or guess what? Sometimes they fly the US flag. But they don't get upset on St. Patrick's Day, on Chinese New Year Day. They don't get upset about them flying those flags. And there's a particular reason for that. So to me, yo, Miss Mandy, welcome in. Y'all, listen, y'all have no idea how much Miss Mandy, okay? I want to do a huge shout out to Miss Mandy. Everybody on all platforms, please go give her a watch on YouTube. She has been tremendous in putting my name out there. Much love to Miss Mandy, seriously. Great person, by the way. But yeah, so I think that, again, I'm not against the protest. I'm against trying to give an easy dub to the right. Also, the 9-star, yeah, that too. We've seen that as well. I'm depressed. The Dems let the orange clown back in again in support of the worst candidate ever. So, first of all, Kamala Harris was good and bad. She was good in a lot of ways because she did better, certainly, than Hillary Clinton. I think she was also bad in the way that her policies were positioned. We saw that she ended up leaning way too moderate in her candidacy. So that was kind of my take on the Kamala Harris Trump thing. I think she should have leaned a little bit more. Like, for example, right? And I know she mentioned this, but she didn't lean into it, right? I think I saw it in passing, which was like Medicare for all, maybe minimum wage increase, even maybe taking a little bit of a spicier take, like a $15 minimum wage. Those are things that could have really rallied up the base. We saw that the base could certainly be rallied up. We saw that the base could absolutely come out in droves. We saw that happen in 2020 where Joe Biden ended up getting like 80 million votes. Had that same turnout happen, we would have saw that possibly change. The 10 million for Beyonce absolutely did not go necessarily to Beyonce. It went to the record label itself. Anyone got a job application? Department of Education coming here. I love it. Yeah, the Department of Education right now, Donald Trump has been kind of wavering back and forth whether or not he's actually going to go in and potentially remove the Department of Education just through executive order, which is insane to me. Keep in mind, guys, that I did a little research today as I made a video. One of the things about the USAID is it is an independent organization. It was implemented, yes, through an executive order, through a particular act in the 60s, through JFK. But Congress in the 90s, don't ask me what date, I have to look at it again. Congress in the 90s ended up reinforcing that it is actually an independent federal agency. What that means is that because it's an independent federal agency, the president has a very limited the executive or the president has a very limited opportunity or limited I'm losing my mind. They're very limited in what they can do with these independent agencies. This is the whole reason why I believe that even the FBI might even be an independent federal agency. It's going to require a literal act of Congress, and MTG has already put forward a bill to eliminate USAID. Already. Marjorie Taylor Greene's already done this. It's insane. So yeah. I just noticed. Oh, and then it was also sponsored by Ogles. For anyone who wants some more doomer news, okay, Andy Ogles introduced a bill in late January to allow Trump to serve for 3 terms. But here's the kicker. He made an exception in there where if you served 2 consecutive terms, you can't serve for a 3rd term. Yep, that happened. So it's pretty hysterical how that works, right? And there's very pointed reason on why they're doing that, because they don't want Obama to run again. What's up, True Crime Hustle? I'm imagining you're coming in here because of Mandy, I would assume, because Miss Mandy loves doing a lot of true crime stuff. Welcome in. To be fair, Trump isn't like the Democrats' fault. If the principled law and order Republicans had principles, they could easily have just not let him run in the primary. Certainly that too. Yeah, and the idea that like Kamala Harris didn't really, get nominated or voted on. She absolutely did. All right, so let's move on with this. Let's go to the next story. We're going to cover this. Let's get rid of that. We're done with that. So I'm only going to play a few minutes of this. So for anyone unaware, there was an interview by 60 Minutes that was released because Donald Trump didn't want to release his full barbershop interview, unedited interview, by the way. So they forced 60 Minutes hand to watch this interview. I'm not going to play the full 60 minutes of this interview, or it's 57 minutes, but I want to play a few things that's really interesting to me that I think really shows, they wanted this released, but guess what? This shows Kamala Harris's personality more than anything, and it's great. So let's go ahead and watch this a little bit here. Oh, will it? Okay, never mind. Thank you, Miss Mandy. She saved me right there. I was about to play the video, and Miss Mandy said, no. Thank you, Miss Mandy. That was literally, I pressed play and was about to hit the switch. Mandy came in clutch. Thank you, Miss Mandy. Well, we can't watch it. Thank you for that. But just watch it. Thank you. I'm glad you're in here because I would have absolutely gotten strike for that. All right. So we'll move on to the next story, but take a look at it. It's great. All right. So the next one is this. I think this is hysterical to me. Not because Mitch McConnell's hurt. No, I hope him and wish him a speedy recovery. I can play the audio. It's fine. I'm not going to run it. It's not that big of a story anyways. Just look at the audio. You'll be surprised, or video. Kamala Harris looks like a normal person. There is some bits in there. I didn't watch all 60 minutes of it where they're kind of like pausing and then they go into it again. There maybe someone makes a noise in the background and they jump in. It's really not that big of a deal. So this one came out. Senator Mitch McConnell spotted in a wheelchair after falling not once, but twice today. He's 82 years old. Guys, how old is Donald Trump? Spoiler alert, 78 years old. Donald Trump is 78 years old. And they're saying we need term limits now. They're saying we need term limits now for ages. That's what they're referring to. Because he's 82 years old. But Donald Trump is literally 4 years younger than Mitch McConnell and about to turn 79 this year. Exactly, Miss Mandy. I don't think they changed that much. It's not a big deal. So this is the interesting thing about it is they showed, and then we also saw Nancy Pelosi walk through the halls of Congress in a walker, and people made fun of her for it. But they failed to understand that their savior, Donald Trump, is 78 years old. Yes, that. In other news, Kash Patel has been delayed by a week thanks to Democrats. Basically what they did was Chuck Grassley tabled it for about a week for the vote, which saves us a week. And this is what I'm talking about is when I say resistance, what I mean by that is we need to see more of this come out. We need to see where Democrats are standing up against it, doing as much as they possibly can, whether it's a filibuster, whether it's whatever it is, right? A debate, or attending a protest. They went out to the Social Security Administration office, stood out front and said, we want to know what DOGE is doing. Things like that. Do it. Stay united. And what Fetterman's doing, by the way, where Fetterman's going like, hey guys, I just want you to know, I'm going to actually vote against RFK. Well, that's great. I'm glad that we need to know whether or not you're going to vote against somebody. I hope that John Fetterman ends up getting primaried. I hope he gets primaried because that's not the unity that we need right now in the Democrat Party. That's not what we need. We need unity and we need one single message. And that message is resist, 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 right? Yes, guys, Miss Mandy said it correct. Please like the video. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to the channel and share on all your socials. Please do that. I got a little spicy. I started off kind of slow moving, and now we're getting into some of the fun topics. We're almost there. Almost to the end. So we had James Comer on Fox News today.
No.
And he said that Trump derangement syndrome is a virus that the Democrats have had for years. For 4 years, it appears that the virus has mutated into Musk derangement syndrome. Okay. Here's the thing. Here's James Comer going on just earlier this year, after Donald Trump has been elected, said that since Hunter Biden's pardon only goes back to 2014, Trump's DOJ should investigate him for crimes in 2013 and haul Joe Biden in for questioning. Yes. The same guy who said The left has Trump derangement syndrome. The right has Biden derangement syndrome. Can no one see the Dems and the reps are the same party, the same big club, and you're not in it? Anyone, uni party against America? I don't think that they're one party. I think they're completely separate. I think there are certainly some overlaps, and people like, right, some of the old school Democrats and the old school Republicans might be more unified. But I think the new era Democrats are not the same. I think, and that's kind of a little bit of a concern if I'm being really transparent and honest. We are doing this as a country, right? The new era Democrats are going to be a little bit more left of the more moderate Democrats who have been in office for years. Think about, Nancy Pelosi. Oh, goodness gracious. What's her name? From California. Feinstein. You think about Feinstein. In terms of the Republicans, you can think of people like, for example, Mitt Romney, Paul Ryan. Some of those names kind of ring about. I don't know if Paul Ryan's still in office or Mitt Romney, quite frankly. But you know what I'm saying? Those people are kind of the more, they've built a career in politics, but they're still there. So now we're going on to the next one. Here's another picture of Comer with his Trump picture book and his 45 hats. I've been saying this for years. The only people who have Trump derangement syndrome are MAGA. MAGA love Trump to an obsessive, scary point. It's kind of weird. I'll say this, Baldy. I'll say this. To your question about which party does not support that particular thing happening, I will say, hold on one second. Yeah, so to that, I would say you're more likely to see that unity from the left. Keep pushing on the left, and you'll see that more likely there. On the right, they want that gone. And this is the problem I have with this narrative that has come across with, this is the big issue I have right now, is that the people who voted for independent or Jill Stein on the left because they did not like Kamala Harris's stance on a two-state solution, this is the result, right? Your vote, look, I'm not going to say it was wasted. But you've got Trump who's advocating for coming in there and just completely taking it away. There is a consequence to these votes. Sent $1 million to, listen, I understand that is your super, I get that. I'm with you on that. I stand by you on that. But what I am trying to tell you is that you are better off supporting someone on the left than you are on the right. Just saying. Flat out. Exactly, Longley. That's what doesn't make sense. It's like it's almost like by voting independent in this regard because of this issue, all you're doing is throwing fuel on a fire. That's all you're doing. Whereas, that's great. I have to pick up a fridge tomorrow. It's great. So again, I just think that, like, for example, if you're on the left, you might have little twigs going in there, but the left is moving a little bit further left, right? I said the new era Dems coming in, they're a little bit left of the old school Dems, but right now there may not even be that left by the time that Trump gets done. Exactly, Long. Like there wouldn't be anything left. Can I join the channel? I'm about to get off true crime, but I'm going to be streaming Monday. So, you can join then, but I'm about to get off. I'm about to cover a few more stories. I got dinner waiting for me and I got a few things I got to take care of tonight. So, but I appreciate you coming in. Absolutely, man. Not yet. Hopefully in a few weeks. Yeah. By the time Trump is done, the entire left's going to be ultra socialist. Yeah. From my view in Ireland, I think they're both the same. It's important. Yeah. All right. So this is one of the stories. I'm getting very close to wrapping up here, guys, but here's another story. This one is from Tommy Tuberville. Let's listen to this. So so Donald Trump announced that, Tommy Tuberville, I'll see if I can find it real quick. I want to actually see if I can find it.
Vice President said,
this isn't it. All right. So anyways, I can't find it. Donald Trump ended up stating that Tommy Tuberville coached Patrick Mahomes. And Tommy Tuberville was stuck in a predicament. Tommy Tuberville could have sat there and just completely said, hey, look, I don't have a comment on it. He could have said, hey, look, I think Donald Trump was sadly mistaken. I wasn't there. No. He decided to double down on this. Tommy Tuberville said, as a coach, you start recruiting and working with players years before they get to college. Patrick Mahomes was one of the best players I ever had the opportunity to recruit and get to know. Looking forward to cheering him on this weekend when I join President Trump at the Super Bowl. One problem with that. Tuberville never coached or recruited Patrick Mahomes. And Patrick Mahomes was asked about whether or not Tommy Tuberville coached him. And right here, he said, he did not recruit me at the time. I don't remember if I ever got to meet him or not. Tommy Tuberville, double down. This is the MAGA cult. This is why, look, I try to be as calm. I try to be as collected as I can. This is why we say, look, MAGA has completely taken over the Republican Party. The Republican Party that I supported 8 years ago, quite frankly, even 4 years ago, is no longer the same Republican Party it is today. The Republican Party today is taken over by a bunch of loyalists. And they're loyalists of Trump. And what makes you a RINO? What makes you a RINO in today's day and age is simply not supporting Trump. Longleg's correct, 100%. That Longleg stated, I'll take 2016 Trump over 2025 Trump any day, and he's spot on. In fact, I don't know if I can play this because I don't know if Piers Morgan will copyright strike me. So what I'm going to say is this. Watch the Piers Morgan interview that is labeled Days of Thunder, Steve Bannon on Trump 2028, Elon Musk feud and jail. And he specifically states in there that they got what they wanted. They rallied behind it. And guess what that name was about what they rallied around, that idea they rallied around. They rallied around, you guessed it, Project 2025. There wasn't a Project 2016. In fact, Donald Trump was new. He kind of had a bunch of different people around him that were typical political pundits and things of that nature. This is different. This right here, this new Donald Trump administration is run by the swamp. Donald Trump today is the swamp. Elon Musk is the shadow government. The same thing that Republicans cried about for the past 8 years have now created what they despise the most. And yet they're blind to see it because they support Donald Trump, because they believe in the sunken cost fallacy. The sunken cost fallacy is essentially when you spend so much money, you invest so much time into something that you don't want to let it go. You can never see the flaws in it. And this is exactly what MAGA has come to do. MAGA has done this. They have looked at Donald Trump. They have supported him in every regard that they possibly could. And to let go of Donald Trump would mean societal exile. It would mean that you are giving up your deeply held belief. And here's my message to all of you MAGA out there, or anybody who is center right or struggling with this thought, like, hey, like, I don't really like, all the stuff that's going on with the MAGA movement, but I don't know what to do. Listen, there's nothing wrong with being a liberal. You can be a liberal. You can be center left. You don't have to believe in everything. I'm someone who is a liberal because I kind of support gun rights or pew rights, right, if you're on TikTok. I'm someone who supports those things, but I also understand there needs to be limitations on that particular thing. I understand that there's a fine balance between state control and public control. I understand that. But the issue here is that we have somebody who's running the government in a way that says, I'm going to throw something out there, and if it sticks, great. If not, oh well, move on to the next thing. Our judicial system this time around is going to be pushed to its extremes. And Miss Mandy said, I support gun rights. I own two. I do. I support them all the way. I was not in favor. This is the idea behind not being in a cult, is that I didn't support Kamala Harris's 2019 assault weapons ban. I did not support it. I didn't like it. And I don't think it's a viable solution to the problem. I think there's far more viable solutions. But what we're seeing right now is that the Donald Trump administration is handling these things in a very bull in a china shop manner. They're looking at the policies going, look, I don't like this policy, so I'm getting rid of the entire thing. I don't like that the USAID is spending money overseas for this project, so I'm going to throw it all the way out. And so then what they're doing is they're saying, well, I don't like this policy, so throw it out. I don't like the undocumented immigrants because they don't look like me, so I'm going to throw it out. That is what we're seeing in real time. And so what I encourage everybody to do as I start to wrap up the stream, we've been live for about an hour and a half. I know it's not a long stream. We will be streaming again Monday. Is I want everybody to encourage you to go and just do some basic research. MAGA, if you have not looked at anything other than Twitter or YouTube, go past that. Look at a .gov site. Look into things. Understand what it is that you're looking into. It's not hard to do. And for everybody that's sitting there, not sure where they stand, I was once there. It's okay to be a liberal. Okay, I promise you. It'll be awkward, right? You're gonna be like, oh, your friends are gonna ask you. You're gonna get a lot of friends asking you, why are you on the left? Why you're waving the Trump flag 4 years ago? Not a big deal about it. So, and you don't have to be far left, right? You don't have to be super far left. I know Jumbo Jack's in the chat right now, encouraging everybody not to be a lefty. That's okay. Don't worry. Kindness wins, right? That's the kind of thing. Anyways, look. And Jumbo Jack saying it means either you're a weak personality or narcissist is actually